is something that you never do is to look a person in the eye. They establish all types of taboos and that, but basically it was disrespectful. In our traditional teachings among the Ne, there are things that you should do and things you cannot do, and that especially between male and female. It is that as the Ne male, the Ne sometimes is referred to just the man, but that's in special circles and that. If you were in a meeting and you would say Denen Linigi, which means those that are men, and then you would say a Sunan Linigi, which would refer to the women. And so in that way there are things that should be recognized as what you can do in a public gathering and what you would do in your individual homes. But the teachings of individual home between siblings is that as a boy in the family, you are never ever supposed to touch your sister. Never ever. And the only time is that if you happen to pull your sister up by the hand, that would be the extent of it. But it was that never ever touching your sister was very much a thing that you were supposed to be aware of. And then there's a lot of traditional teachings that associated with the hands, or everything from the first handshake or the touching of hand. Etiquette is what they would say if you were to refer to a handshake. But even a handshake is that you never ever grip the hand. It's just basically just touching fingertips. That was the contact that would be made. And so it is in modern times. People take on the Western approach to a handshake sometimes, and the traditional people really do not appreciate it, where you grip the hand. And when in actuality, our traditional way of placing the fingertips against each other would be sufficient as touching hands. It would be to say, which is that you touched hands. And then the other things about the hands and that, and the etiquettes and that involved, is when you're learning the traditional songs and prayers and that of ceremonies, the men, and there's some things that can never be revealed if you're not really an apprentice, but much of what you would be taught as far as hand motions and the instructions that you would be receiving about songs and prayers was told to you by the back of the hand. And I can't go into a lot of detail on that because that is something that is considered very sacred. And so if you ever become an apprentice as far as learning some of the songs and some of the ceremonies and prayers, then the hand and that particular teaching would be revealed to that apprentice. But the eye contact is another thing among our Dene. It's something that you never do is to look a person in the eye. They establish all types of taboos and that, but basically it was disrespectful and to stare at a person and to look them in the eye. Maybe it was regarded as an evil eye and that, but everybody has their own version of why you don't look into a person's eye. But it was respectful to keep your head down when you were being told and being instructed. Sometimes you would not look at your instructor at all. You would listen to his voice, and everything that he was instructing you or she was instructing you would be drawn out on the ground. And so that's where you would look. And when you would ask a question, sometimes if you would look at the chest of the individual while you're talking to them, that was respectful. But to go and to look into the eyes of the person giving you instruction was very disrespectful. But nowadays, with a lot of influence from Western cultures and so on, it is being lost as far as how we express ourselves by the way we respond to people of other culture. But those are the things that we are told.